Did you know that every 16 minutes a person is injured or dies in an accident involving an 18-wheeler, tractor trailer, or semi-truck? A typical fully loaded large commercial truck can weigh 80,000 pounds or more, while a typical passenger automobile weighs only about 3,000 pounds. While semi-trucks make up just 3% of the vehicles on the road, they're involved in 12% of fatal accidents. Joining us today to discuss legal claims arising from truck accidents is attorney David Farnbaugh with the Sweeney Law Firm of Fort Wayne. Thanks for taking some time with us today, David.
It's a pleasure to be here today.
David, you and your law firm have handled more than your share of truck cases over the past years. What are some of the most common causes of those truck accidents?
Well, I think one of the most common causes of truck accidents are driver fatigue. Oftentimes, over-the-road truck drivers will have been driving for many, many hours at the time of an accident, and they're tired and they're fatigued, and that results in an accident.
When a truck driver causes a personal injury on a highway, what are some of the potential parties that might be held responsible other than the truck driver himself?
Well, truck accident cases are particularly complex because one of the things we have to do initially is to find out who's involved in that truck being out on the road. Oftentimes, there'll be an owner of the actual truck itself, there'll be another owner of the tractor, there'll be a legal entity that'll be responsible for the shipment of the cargo that's involved in the accident. So there are any number of parties that can be involved as defendants in a truck accident case.
David, in your experience, what is it that makes a legal claim against a truck driver more challenging or complex than cases involving two cars that collide on a roadway?
Well, I think there's a number of things that make these cases more complex. First of all, most of the time when we're dealing with a truck accident, we're dealing with a more significant and oftentimes a catastrophic injury. When a 70,000-pound semi collides with a motor vehicle, normally there are serious injuries that are involved. So that increases the complexity of the claim. Second of all, these cases involve extensive investigation. We investigate oftentimes the whereabouts or the activities of a truck driver for up to a week before the event. So we have to obtain all the driver logs and evidence of where that truck driver was. Normally there's an accident reconstruction involved to try to quantify what speed the truck was traveling and where the vehicles came together. So normally there would be accident reconstruction experts that are involved in these cases. So these cases can be very complex.
Can you take our viewers through some of the steps that you and your law firm take when a client comes to you after an accident involving a semi-tractor trailer?
Well, one of the first things that we do if we're hired shortly after an accident is to get a letter to the trucking company and ask them to preserve the evidence or preserve the truck and the parts and pieces of the truck immediately after an accident so that that evidence can be analyzed by investigators and accident reconstruction people to try to piece together how the accident happened. The other thing that we try to do is immediately secure, as I mentioned before, the driver logs. When truck drivers are driving a load on the highways, they're required to keep records or logs of their whereabouts. What time they started the trip, how many stops they made, and all that information has to be logged in a driver's logbook. So we immediately try to get possession of a copy of the driver's logbook.
If one of our viewers is seriously injured in an accident involving a tractor trailer, what advice do you offer that person or their family?
Well, the most important advice that I can give, particularly in a truck accident, is the need to call a lawyer who has experience doing truck injury cases immediately after the accident. Trucking companies immediately dispatch investigators and accident reconstruction people to a scene, oftentimes within hours of when an accident occurs. So they're able to secure the evidence, secure witness statements right away. And in order to present a case, it's important for the injured party to get a hold of a lawyer right away so that your own attorney can go out and secure witness statements and secure the evidence right after an accident as well.
Thanks for spending some time with us today, David, sharing your experience in these trucking cases.
Thanks for having me.